and welcome back to the Practice Odyssey. For those of you who don't know, my name is Alex.
My name's Jen.
And today we have reached the end of our Season 2 adventure. And so now we're going to reflect a bit on what has passed over the past few weeks, besides coronavirus. And so, welcome to this episode of a cast of a reflection Podyssey. Yeah, so we're going to go through all of the different things that we did over the past few weeks, kind of talk about what stuck, what didn't stick, and what is still on our stand. What are we taking on with us to keep in the permanent memory logs?
Yeah, I liked what you said earlier. What stuck and what sucked.
Exactly. Also, this is the first time, usually when Jen and I record. For those new listeners, I'm currently in Germany. Jen, where are you?
I'm in Cambodia.
So when we podcast, we are not close to each other.
No.
I mean, we're always close in spirit, but in actual distance, we are quite far from each other.
Quite far, yes.
So usually we just do this where we have one of us, or I hate to give away some of the magic of how we make the podcast, but usually I can just hear Jen's voice while we're recording, and today I can actually see her while we're recording. So let us know, does this affect...
I kind of feel like it's throwing us slightly, because we did. That was actually one thing I found. I think the first episode of this season, we were actually, you came to Cambodia.
I did.
And so we were actually in the same room, and I found it really weird.
Right?
It was very different. And I was thinking, oh man, just used to the combos over the phone. Yeah, it is, yeah.
There's something about seeing a person and seeing their reactions versus just hearing their voice. It just adds a whole new level of complexity.
It does.
So listener, can you tell when we're in the same room? Does it change our conversation? Let us know.
Should we keep this a thing?
Yeah,
where we actually see each other's faces as we talk? What a revolutionary idea. Oh my gosh.
Who would have thought? Oh my gosh.
Who would have thunk? I know.
Oh, so good. All right. Well, so Jen, what did we do first this year? The recording that we did together in Cambodia.
In Cambodia.
In 30-degree weather.
I know.
For my American friends, about 80s, 90s. So fair
yes, it's always a nice balmy, 80s, 90s degrees? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We had just finished, or attempted to finish, the epic that is The Artist's Way.
Yes.
We optimistically began this over the Christmas break, and
we did.
As we both travelled back to our respective homes to visit our families.
Who we haven't seen for months.
Yes, Potench wasn't the best scenario in which to do it. Let's just say routines were not really a thing. On either end, I don't think.
Yes, it was not the time to establish new habits.
No, it was not the time to establish new habits. There was a lot of sabotage. Unintentional sabotaging went on with this. Yeah, but actually I was thinking, now that I'm stuck inside a house with no option to go anywhere for the foreseeable future, I mean, it's looking like flights won't be open until Christmas at least.
Oh my gosh.
For here. I mean, it's not looking super likely. Who knows? The world is a-changing in remarkable ways. So maybe it will be, but for at least the next 6 weeks, I think I'm going to be here. So actually, this could be prime time to try it again.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll give it another shot. Maybe I have to journal.
Well.
That was my nemesis. Oh, the journaling, Alex.
I know, because she's very strict about how you can journal. It had to be handwritten. You could not type it.
Had to be handwritten.
I could easily see myself just talking to myself on my phone for talk to myself for 5 minutes, get all the errant thoughts out of my head. But no, we had to handwrite it. And as a lefty, that comes, if you're writing with pencil, it comes with all the wonderful hand decorations, which... If you're lazy, and what I was doing, well, not lazy, but if you really value your time spent in bed, this is not a great way you're going to ruin a lot of sheets, because you're writing, and then you put your hand on the blanket, and then it just smears. It's smudge city. Smudge city. So.
I never thought about that, but yes. Someone needs to get onto that.
Yes. It's
Hand
horrible.
guard.
Actually, that's true. For my lefty friends out there, I can put a link. I have a pen that I use, which on most types of paper, it dries instantly, so I don't have to worry about smudges. However, with some of the papers that have maybe a more waxy finish, then it does still smear a bit. But I can only buy them in the States, so every time I go home, I always buy 2 or 3 of them. And it's the best thing ever. So.
Sounds like a really good investment, actually.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes for any lefties out there who need a good pen recommendation. It's a real problem.
It sounds like a real problem.
Don't use it on your music because they are not erasable, but if you're writing in general. But okay, so Jen, what stuck with the artist way for you?
Nothing that stuck, except the fact that maybe I do want to try it again. But I was thinking about the process of the artist way, and she's a writer. Her career is writing, and so her way creatively to express herself and get the uncreative the blocks out is to just write in so it's like, is that important to the process that you're actually writing your thoughts out, or could that be altered to fit in more with our craft, so music? So instead of us journaling, could we maybe just sit down with our flute and play whatever comes to mind in like the most beautiful space we can find in our house?
Yes,
like
without any
in my
judgment.
case, the most resonant place is the shower. I could just like play, and with no judgments, just doing whatever. Just play in the shower. I mean, not with the water on. Yeah, like change it to a different kind of to a musical way. But then I guess she's often thinking a lot about the thoughts, that like getting you to process thoughts as well. But I wondered if you could maybe add that element in.
What if we did that where it's just you wake up in the morning and basically grab your coffee, grab your flute, but then just like head to your stand. Maybe bring a piece of paper with you or your journal, and then just play whatever comes to your brain. And when you have errant thoughts, maybe about your playing, writing them down. So then you're like, oh, this sucks.
I like that.
This sucks. Because then you actually have to write it down, and putting pen to paper with thoughts sometimes, it really makes you realize how irrational they are. Or like, okay, come on, you just woke up. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Come on.
Yep. Everything is tired and waking up and
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, I kind of like this. And because then it also gets us right into practicing, and that's usually the biggest hurdle, right? Getting started for anything in life. Not
it's like
just
make your 15th cup of coffee just to avoid going to the stand.
Well, did 2 scales. Time for another coffee. There's a good TikTok about that. I'll put that one in the show notes too. Listeners, by the way, it was quarantine week 7 or 8 when I finally downloaded TikTok as a 30-year-old. Oh no.
So great. Look, the whole world is downloading TikTok.
Yes.
Well, I have to say, that was that kind of would flow us into our next project. Although you need to tell me how you found the artist's way. And did anything stick? Are you journaling?
No, I'm not journaling. However, I have been doing the artist date every once in a while when I'm feeling creatively stifled. So sometimes I'm just like, especially now with quarantine, because there's so many free things you can try. So the latest thing that I've been messing with is Ableton.
What's Ableton?
Ableton is like basically a way you can like create songs. So you can like build little loops, record things, change how they sound.
Does this mean that we're going to get a new theme tune for next season?
Ooh, maybe.
Challenge laid down.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, it'll be good. So I'll let you know. But yeah, so when I'm feeling creatively stifled, that's what I've been going to. However, I still find it hard to do without people. I really enjoy creating with people around. So,
yeah,
anyways.
I know, you can bounce ideas off. It's a lot more of a kind of a two-way process. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take it that it did not stay on the stand for you, Jen.
No.
Yeah, it did not for me either.
No.
So. But we'll give it another try with maybe the new bird technique. I really like this idea.
Maybe adding music into it. It's a lot of questions. I had to think too much about it myself.
There's a lot of questions about self. I mean, which is good to like self-reflect, but I also think it's good not to get too into your head sometimes. You have to come up for air.
Actually, maybe Corona would be a really bad time to do this.
Well, maybe we could do like where we could check in a bit with each other, and then because she doesn't say we have to answer the questions by ourselves. It's only the artist date and the journal pages that we have to do alone.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Maybe the questions,
actually,
which can be a little soul searchy and like, then we could do those together, and then it won't seem so bad. But yeah, okay. So food for thoughts. Jen, what was our second book that we did? Was it the Reichert?
Reichert. Or Reichbart. We kept mispronouncing it. Reichert?
Reichert, I think.
Reichert.
Well, I mean, as a Texan, I say Reichert.
Reichert. I like that one. Okay, I'm going to say it like that. Reichert.
Yes, I do remember us having issues with like how it's pronounced, and French say Reichert or something. So, flutist, you know which one we're talking about. It's those wonderful 7 daily exercises. Just like
they are
so
lovely.
Beautiful.
They are lovely.
Oh my
Very
gosh.
melodic.
Short, sweet, to the point. Takes less than 30 minutes to get through all of them if you're playing them at a nice cruise speed.
So you can think.
So what's stuck for you, Jen?
Yeah, I have to say I have come back to these a few times. They're kind of on rotation, so I don't do them daily. Maybe I'll do them once a week or so. Again, because it's a nice way to kind of warm up. It gets the dexterity going, it gets the air going. And I like that you've got the intervals which build up, and then also you're practicing every key and the articulations at the end. So it's really, it just kind of covers all bases pretty gently. So every week or so I'll run through some of them.
What did not stick?
Well, the whole thing. I didn't do the whole thing. And I have to say, if I'm going to play the scales, like the majors and the minors, I'm not going to pick that method. I'll do a different one. So really, I've just been doing the articulations, and I've been practicing them on using them for my alto and pick playing as well, because they're very melodic, so you can hear the intonation problems. Like
and you can
clearly.
like work on the jumps between intervals really well, especially on alto flute, because that can be kind of dodgy, and it's really easy to just get kind of frustrated. And then since the melodies are a little nicer, it makes it a little easier. Exactly. And it's not too crazy. So right before you get annoyed with something, it goes to like a regular scale or something. But totally get that.
But more for my auxiliary instruments, and definitely not for like my essential scales kind of thing. Kind of supplementary stuff. Yeah, how about you? Have they stuck to the stand?
So what's stuck is number 1, and which is for our listeners, it's one that's like it's nice and pretty, and it's just kind of scalar with minor jumps interspersed. And I've been using that one and a few of the other ones that are a little less crazy as like a warm-up replacement, just to like get my sound in the morning. Because I like these, and I like the Sue Milan warm-ups, because she starts in that like nice high register, like la da dum da 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 dum. So I've been using them as sort of a warm-up, and I think similar to you, just sort of supplemental. I don't play through all 7 of them daily, but they do come in every once in a while, and because they're so easy, and like most of them I have memorized, so I don't even have to pull out the book. It's just the same pattern, tick tick tick. So and then you go through them. So so it's on my mini stand. It's in my bookshelf still. I have 2 bookshelves. I have like the shelf in my practice room, and then I have the shelf in our hallway, which has all of my music. So it's kind of just like the extended storage. So it's in the bookshelf in the practice room. So it's there, but it's not always on the stand. So
no. Okay, partially on the stand. Oh, well done, Reichert.
Reichert, you did all right.
he did all right, Reichert.
Episode 3 was our quarantine bonus episode.
It was. I have enjoyed some of your suggestions.
Ooh, which ones?
I enjoyed your workout suggestions, so I've been trying some of them. Very fun.
Yes,
and also,
awesome.
I had fun browsing JSTOR.
Me too.
As you got me onto that, so that was quite good. So
I've intellectual articles.
Yes, I got they were good. And an update on my Corona project. It's enormous.
For those who don't
possibly
remember,
will break me. Alex has very strict instructions to check in every couple of weeks to check my sanity is still intact. I'm still in section 1. Dear goodness.
When you're trying to record all of Daphnis and Chloe on all the flute parts together, you do need a little check-in every once in a while. Oh
yeah, I'm starting to think that this is going to be possibly a project till Christmas kind of deal.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. Oh my gosh.
But it's been great. It's actually been very illuminating. I've enjoyed it because I have become aware so much more about how all the parts link up together. So it's been really, really good. So that's now got me kind of inspired to do this to so many more of the major excerpts which keep popping up. So, yeah, like, especially the Firebird. That could maybe be my next year's project.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things from my recommendations was the playing along with the accompaniments on YouTube. So I've done that a few times.
Flute karaoke!
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I've done some flute karaoke. Artist date for me one night. I was like, you know what? I just feel like playing flute karaoke. Bring me the Prokofiev or the Poulenc. Let's just go through this. So that was definitely lots of fun.
Oh, it is fun, isn't it? Oh, karaoke.
So good. Episode 4 was Shut Up and Play a Guitar.
Shut up and play your guitar. I still haven't researched what that song's about, by the way. I'm sorry. Listeners.
I looked up the lyrics, and it looks like there's just one line. Oh. So maybe she just really liked the phrase.
Shut up and play your guitar. Because it is like, shut up and play flute. Don't think about it.
Shut up, play your flute. Yeah.
Just
do it.
Just do it. Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what stuck for you, Jen, from Shut Up and Play a Guitar?
What stuck for me? Okay, so the 3-second rule, I've really been enjoying that. So a lot of the strategies which she brought up, the more I read it, the more I kind of understand. As you said, like, it was like really dense, this article. Mm-hmm. It's so dense. There's so much information packed in.
But like,
it's just overwhelming. So every time I kind of go back and read it, I kind of get a new angle on it and realize a new way to apply it. I think overall I still find it quite encouraging, and it's made me feel a bit more relaxed about how long it takes me to learn things. The 3-second rule has been excellent. It's kind of helping me stop the kind of bring up your flute and start playing kind of thing, which can certainly end in tears. And yeah, all the different techniques which she's brought in, and helping like practice in the zone 1 and 2. And one thing I've started inspired from this is I do my practice for an hour, then I will take a break and work out for half an hour, doing like stretching or Pilates or something like that, which helps me kind of relax my body, get into the body awareness, and then roar in for the next one. So I've been finding that a really nice new habit, which has been helping my focus a lot more.
I bet it helps your breathing too, because when we're exercising, it kind of forces us to have good breathing habits, or else you're just going to pass out.
Yeah, and it's actually been really fun, because especially after when it's really cardio intense, you come back and you're like, but it's exactly like when you get on stage and you've got the nerves, you get to practice with the super fast breathing. So it's I'm finding it really good. So I think this is definitely, well, not staying on the stand, it's staying on the mat. There we go. So I'll keep this going.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. How about you? What did you find? Did you any of this stick?
Yeah, so yeah, for listeners may remember, I didn't complain too much, but I definitely was thinking that it was a very dense article, which I would have liked a few more pointers, but then again, we talked about how it was probably meant for a conference, and she probably had a beautiful PowerPoint presentation to go along with the thing, and I'm just we're only privy to this PDF. But what has stuck for me is the taking more breaks while practicing.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing that, like interspersing more breaks throughout my practice. And also kind of what you said, along the lines of being more patient with myself and recognizing like, oh, okay, like I'm inputting new information. It's going to take me a while before I master this. And not only have I applied it to my flute playing, I've been applying this to my German learning, because sometimes I get very impatient with myself because I'll forget, a way to declinate or decline a declination for some word, or like, okay, what's the article that goes along with this? Is it a der, die, or das? And then how does that affect the rest of the word? And what? It's just a whole process. I love the language. It's very logical, but It is kind of annoying sometimes because it is very logical. So then when you make a mistake, there's really no excuse because it's like, well, it follows the rules 98% of the time. So yeah, that's stuck as well. I still kind of want to reread it and then maybe reorganize just the thoughts for myself. So in that way, it can also be like another way to input the knowledge in my head, kind of like you described. That way, if I missed anything, maybe it'll help me get better.
I spoke to my Dutch friend and she says, yes, we did pronounce it correctly. Vika.
Oh, yay! Thank you so much for checking, Jen. You're the best. Oh my gosh. Episode 5 was our most recent one, and that was the Marcel Moyse daily exercises.
I know, this was suggested by me and I nearly broke you again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Alex. The flashbacks to TNG were too strong.
It's my own brain that gets in the way, though. Most people just stop when it gets crazy, but my brain's like, no, you have to go. It's like, no, this is not normal. Stop and just like relax a bit. So, oh my gosh. So what stuck for you, Jen? So what was like...
Well, I mean, yes, it has been a relatively short time since we've started this, but yes, it's stuck. I probably bring this up a couple of times a week, so it's definitely on my regular daily scales rotation. I like it because you go through all the keys, especially for like A, B, C, and D, which is your basically covers all your chromatics, your whole tones, your diminished, augmented, and then major and minors. Although I have to say it's only harmonic minor, not melodic minor. But I do like how it goes up in relatively a full range up to the B and then back down again for all of the scales, which I like. So I am enjoying it. I mean, I went back and had a read of your website by Jen Cluff, and I really liked her suggestions for how to practice this, so I started incorporating that in too. So thank you for that tip. Yeah, and I mean, I have to say the other letters are happening a little less frequently, but they are still very useful. I mean, yes, I have to say it's getting so that now, you know, when I see an enormous interval, I'm only like 50% terrified. Yeah, especially with the cool ways of practicing, which you pointed me in the direction of. Very easy to keep it off autopilot, and yeah. So I'm finding it pretty accessible, crazy enough but not too crazy.
Excellent.
Well, for A, B, C, and D, when it starts getting more like the 6th and 7th, and then yes, it is crazy. For the others, and the 4th's very useful for jazz.
We need to put some of your improv on here at some time. At some point.
No, I only know one scale.
But
I got one jazz scale.
You can apply those same techniques, and we only need to hear one scale. So, see, it works out.
I know, it's very funny. My teacher's like, don't be ashamed of playing scales. I was like, okay, I only know one. Here's an improv on the G-D bop.
Oh my gosh. We should add that to our list too. Maybe one where you go through all the different types of scales and then, yeah. Anyways, maybe for a future episode listeners, how do you feel about that?
There are a lot I'm discovering. There's a whole new family of them in jazz. My gosh.
So good.
My brain is imploding. Anyway, so Alex, I know I slightly broke you with Moyse. How has any of it stayed on the stand, or did it get kind of thrown out the window as soon as we did the podcast?
Well, I mean, as we discussed a few weeks ago, since I applied the Jen Cluff approach to it, I did not take a very purist approach to the Moyse. I found it much easier to digest. But no, I'm still doing the Jen Cluff, mostly on A, B, C, and D. I have to say, during the quarantine, my practicing, while still there, has been a little more self-care oriented, or kind of treat yourself oriented.
And I guess your neighbours are definitely home at the moment, so you don't want to get them offside as well. So, yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, so I and they are really nice. Sometimes they'll tell me like, "Oh, that song was really nice that you played today," and that's really
so
sweet.
cool.
You always have a perpetual audience, but I do try to, you know, keep them, you know, like sort of pleased, but then also maintaining my own habits. But it is still on the stand. I have the little printouts on my iPad, printouts on my iPad. So yeah, so I'm still using it. I really like it because for some reason I don't think I've ever played through these before. I've done TG for a long time. I've done Reichert and a few others that we might eventually cover on the podcast. But this specific Moyse, is quite new to me.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it.
Definitely prefer over the TNG, as shocking as that is. I think we really just got broken by TNG.
I know. Oh, it was a good first season. Ah, the memories.
Oh, the memories. Started off with the baptism of fire. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I think that's it for our season review. I think maybe now we can announce what Jen and I are going to be doing for our summer project this year, in case you would like to come along. So we are going to be playing through and learning to master the art of beatboxing with Greg Patillo's Beatbox Flute Method Book, Volume 1. We are very excited. We are going to be little beatbox flutists. So it's going to be so good.
I requested that this happened over the holidays instead of one of our 2-week prep because I don't think I can learn to beatbox in 2 weeks. After reading Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, I am well aware of my neurological limitations. So we're definitely going to need longer than 2 weeks to get beatboxing into my system. It's a really corona-friendly way to practice because it's not so loud, so your neighbors won't be able to hear it.
If you want to follow along, it's a good way to not annoy your neighbors because if you want to make the sound effects louder with a microphone, you can always put it in headphones.
Yeah.
So.
And in our show notes, we can show you where to order it from. And did you say that he's also posting regular etudes?
For those who want to follow along, he has a Patreon page and he's posting directions for each of the exercises. So it's very, which I think is fantastic because then it really gives you a chance to hear it from one of the people who helped, start this movement of beatbox fluting. So he's kind of the unofficial king of the beatbox. Yeah. So they're the prince.
He's like the Moyse of the beatboxing world. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So, listeners, that is it for us. We've had so much fun talking with you over the last few weeks, too. And it's been so nice to hear what you've had to say. And just keep sending us emails and just let us know what you think. For those who don't know, our email address is thepracticeodyssey@gmail.com. Also to find in our show notes. The music in this episode is from me, Alessandra Woods, and the show art is from the wonderful Ivan Potter. So until next time, have a wonderful summer holiday. Don't get sick from corona. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Play your flute. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. See you after summer.
All right, bye.
Bye.